Hey, and welcome to The Explainer. So today we're going to tackle a question that has definitely crossed your mind. Is AI coming for my job? We're going to go way beyond the headlines, look at the actual data behind all this anxiety, and figure out what it really means for our careers.
Yeah, it's that question that's probably buzzing around in the back of your mind, right? As artificial intelligence gets smarter and woven more and more into our daily work, that fear of being replaced, it feels incredibly real. But is it just a feeling, or is there something more to it?
Well, if you're feeling this way, you're definitely not alone. It's not just in your head. This widespread sense of unease is a real psychosocial stressor that researchers are digging into right now. It's pretty much the collective feeling of an entire workforce staring down a massive technological shift.
And in fact, it actually has a name: AI-induced job anxiety. And look, this isn't just your normal, everyday stress about a deadline. This is a very specific kind of distress, and it's triggered by these intelligent systems that can learn, adapt, and do things that, honestly, until very recently, only humans could do.
But what's really interesting is that this anxiety isn't just one single thing. It kind of breaks down into a few different flavors. You've got displacement anxiety. That's the raw fear your job could just disappear. Then there's obsolescence anxiety, the worry that the skills you've spent years building are about to become useless. There's adaptation anxiety, which is the stress of constantly having to learn new things. Performance anxiety, the pressure to keep up with what AI can do. And finally, control anxiety, that feeling that you're losing your own say, your own autonomy at work.
Okay, so to really get our heads around this, let's move away from the definitions and look at some hard data. And it turns out the launch of one of the most famous AI tools ever created a kind of accidental real-world experiment for us. So, picture this: November 2022, ChatGPT drops, and it just explodes, right? 100 million users in 2 months. And just like that, researchers had this perfect, natural experiment on their hands. They could look at the job market for a profession that was super exposed to this, software development, and compare the before times with the after times. Now, inside this experiment, you've got two key groups of people we need to look at. On one hand, you have the junior developers. They've got less than 4 years of experience, and they tend to work on the more routine coding tasks. And on the other hand, you have the senior developers, the veterans who are focused on the really complex, creative, big picture stuff. So the question is, how did this brand new AI tool affect each of them?
All right, so what actually went down when this incredibly powerful code-writing AI was suddenly just available to everybody? How did that change things for junior and senior devs? Well, the data tells a really clear story. And here it is, the big takeaway. In the year after ChatGPT was released, job postings for junior developers fell by 16.3% compared to senior developers. Think about that. In one of the hottest fields out there, the door for entry-level talent suddenly got a lot colder while the demand for experienced senior talent stayed way more robust.
You know, this might sound brand new, but it's actually a pattern economists have seen before. It's called skill-biased technological change. The basic idea, as this quote lays out, is that new technology often makes your most skilled workers even more productive. But for people whose jobs involve more routine tasks, the exact kind of tasks that automation gets good at, it can lead to job displacement.
So, okay, if those classic entry-level coding jobs are shrinking, does that mean it's game over? Well, not exactly. The data also points toward new opportunities and a really fascinating shift in what skills are suddenly becoming way more valuable.
So what skills are actually in demand now? You might think it's all about being a master at writing AI prompts, but you'd be wrong. The real surge in demand is for uniquely human skills, high-level problem solving, great interpersonal communication for teamwork, and a strong foundation in math. Basically, if AI can handle the routine code, companies desperately need people who can handle the complex thinking and collaboration around the code.
And the good news here is that the research shows a software developer's fundamental skills are, well, they're super transferable. That same analytical mindset is in high demand in roles like management analyst, industrial engineer, market research analyst, and project manager. These are all data-heavy fields where that skill set is pure gold.
So what this all boils down to is that this isn't some epic battle of humans versus machines. Nope. It's really a story about adaptation. The technology is here, and it's changing the game. The real challenge is figuring out how we, as people, as managers, as companies, change with it so we can thrive.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? How do we adapt? The research points to a strategy that works on 3 levels. First, At the employee level, it's about understanding these anxieties and learning how to cope with them. For managers, it's about rolling out training that builds confidence and digital skills, not fear. And for entire organizations, the big one is creating AI policies that actually put people first, focusing on things like mental health and human-centered design.
So in the end, we're not really left with an easy answer. We're left with a big question. The technology is here, and it's only getting faster. Because the real test here isn't how powerful the AI gets, it's about our own ability to change and evolve right alongside it. The future of work is knocking, and it's asking what we're going to do.